Welcome to the home stretch. I'm Marc Dahlquist. For the next 30 minutes, we'll take an in-depth look at our local sports scene, checking out the stories not often heard. When we first met Brooke Meyer more than 2 years ago, the then sophomore at Neuqua Valley High School was already starting to make a name for herself on the softball field. Before grabbing her diploma this spring, the 4-year letter winner in softball was named the Outstanding Female Athlete of the Year for the Wildcats. But for Brooke, her future isn't on the diamond. When Brooke Meyer attends Penn State in the fall, she'll compete in the inaugural Nittany Lions women's ice hockey season and will live out a lifelong dream of playing Division I hockey. The road to State College, though, started long before the puck dropped on her high school career.
Very early age, I played a lot of sports. I played soccer, hockey, baseball, all those t-ball, all the little things, you know, your parents get you in every sport to see what you wanted to do.
For Brooke, it was always, when am I going to be old enough to play sports? And everything was 5 years old. T-ball didn't start till 5 years old, nothing with the Park District. You had to be 5 years old. She quickly learned that hockey, there were no rules. There were boys younger than 5 years old skating. So as soon as she could, we enrolled her in Rocky hockey. It just seemed like a natural transition for as much time as we spent at the rink. It's like it was her time.
Brooke made the most of every opportunity she had as a young athlete, showing coaches at an early age that she was ready to rise to the challenge.
There was a time when I was in Mighty Mites, which is probably like 6 years old, and it was a championship game, and everyone rotates goalies. And the one kid that was in didn't want to play goalie because he didn't want to lose the game for him. I was like, I'll do it. And ever since then, I never left that crease.
For more than 11 years, she has called the crease home, doing her best to stop wristers, one-timers, and slap shots during hundreds of club and high school games. And in her sophomore season at Neuqua Valley High School, she was named the starting goalie for the boys varsity hockey team, playing alongside her older brother Zach, whose footsteps she'd been following for years.
I just wanted to always be better than him, which it was kind of harder because he's 2 years older than me and he's always stronger than me, bigger than me. You know, he could just kind of do whatever he wanted and I just had to go with the flow.
I never let her win. She'll tell you that. You know, I always had the upper hand on her, and even now, you know, she'll try to win, but I'll still put her in her place sometimes. Her whole life, she was being pushed to be better, and she loved the challenge. She embraced it, and ultimately became the athlete she is today.
My son's a big boy, and I've seen her wrestle and take his abuse, you might say, but she never backed away. So being tough, no, I would actually suggest to you that most of the men's teams she played on, the coach would tell you she was one of the stronger players, physically, not just mentally.
Toughness was a must for Brooke. Unlike many of her future teammates, she played with the boys and had to deal with her share of scrutiny from opposing players and fans. With the help of her team, coaches, and family, she was able to brush off any negativity on and off the ice. But when she takes to the rink for Penn State next year, Brooke will just be one of the girls.
The way the game's played, a women's style is a lot more faster pace, whereas because they don't have checking, but they still, they still get physical. But women, I feel like they snipe you more because they don't have that hard shot, so they're going to pick the corners. So you really got to have your angles right.
Brooke's move to State College is part of a larger transition. Penn State will skate for the first time next winter as a Division I program in both women's and men's hockey. Thanks to the largest private donation in the school's history of $102 million from alumnus Terry Pagula and his wife Kim, a state-of-the-art rink and facility is under construction that will bear their name and is scheduled to be completed in 2013. This is where Brooke and 17 other freshmen will join transfer students in laying the groundwork for a successful program for years to come.
She is a very talented goaltender. One of the things that in our process of watching her that I love the most is she competes for every puck. As I said earlier, she just has that character of all these kids who are coming on board for us. So we're looking forward to the whole process of really building a foundation here. And, you know, we're not very far away from getting started, so it's going to be exciting for everyone.
I just want to make a name for Penn State and that we are someone to compete with and that we're going to build our program in men's and women's ice hockey is going to be something that's going to become popular there, especially with the new rink in the next year.
When the NCAA levied sanctions on the university this summer, stemming from the highly publicized athletic scandal, the association fined Penn State $60 million, an amount some thought would negatively affect the entire athletic department, including the two newest teams.
It was certainly it's a big challenge for the university. It's an enormous challenge for our football program, and they're in great hands with Coach O'Brien, who I support 110%. He's terrific. But the university has made it clear that these sanctions will not have any impact on any of the other varsity sports. We've got a tremendous athletic program here, and we all support one another, and we're really one team here at Penn State.
The support between Brooke and her teammates will be put to the test when they open the season in October. And when she puts on that Penn State jersey for the first time, Brooke can check one more goal off her to-do list.
I don't know, it was so surreal for me because that dream actually came true. I mean, you talk about it for the past 10 years, and I kept going with it no matter what obstacles were put in my way, but I just wanted to play D1 college.
While the new program and university still have many obstacles to overcome, like so many times in the past, Brooke is ready for the challenge. Stay tuned. The home stretch will be right back.
As we celebrate our 25th anniversary, share in the memories and moments of Naperville Community Television, tuning into Naperville for 25 years.
The NCTV has always stepped up to the plate and said, we want to talk about things that you do well for the community.
There is not a question in my mind that NCTV has shaped my life.
And the support that we get from NCTV has just been terrific. So we're glad you're here. And congratulate you on 25 years.
The off-season. It used to be a time when professional athletes took time off to relax and youth athletes simply picked up another sport. But these days, that's not the case. The boom of sports specialization in recent years has also brought an uptick in sports performance training for athletes of all ages. It takes place at a point in time formerly known as the off-season.
5 seconds, open it up.
Brandon Vincent is on the wall again. Preparing, working, training. In 3 weeks, he will be at his first NFL training camp for his hometown Chicago Bears.
Nothing was ever given to me. I always worked hard, and now all of a sudden, people always say, "Oh, I made it," but no, I made it to the training camp. I didn't make it for the roster. It was like every day, it's a battle. You never know. Like this business is not guaranteed. You know, I can get a call saying, "Hey, my service is not needed anymore," and that's it.
Because of that reality, the wall isn't Vincent's only enemy. There's also the cones, the weights, and his trainer.
Set, hut.
Vincent has spent the past 7 months in Naperville, training at Acceleration Sports Performance under the watchful eyes of former NFL player J.R. Nicholas.
I see myself in him, and I really think he's in a great position. You know, he's a guy that he pays attention to detail. He's maniacal in his decisions. He's precise in his movements. I really think that he's got a great chance to not only make the team, but to contribute on Sundays.
Nicholas and his staff at Acceleration oversee specialized training programs for more than 300 area athletes, from those on the elite level to those just starting out. For Nicholas, the key is combining a science backing and sport-specific movements with a dash of intensity.
Any athlete that trains hard, he'll probably get better, but we want to perfect that athlete, and you have to have science and you have to have progression to perfect that athlete.
In the last 6 years, you could compare Vincent's journey to athletic perfection to that of Odysseus. After breaking his leg in week 1 of his senior season at Glenbard West, colleges backed off. He ended up at Northern Illinois as a recruited walk-on, set to earn a scholarship the following spring. But Coach Joe Novak retired after a 2-10 season, and Vincent became a football vagabond once again. The following fall, the wideout led the College of DuPage offense, catching 60 balls for 618 yards and 7 touchdowns. After that, a scholarship to Illinois State and a position change to tight end followed. 3 years later, Vincent found himself at Acceleration, prepping for his pro day.
It was a whole different training up here. Being a college athlete, you train, you get your bench, squat and all that, but you try to lift as heavy as possible. But here, it's, heavy as possible and moving as fast as possible. And ever since I've been doing that, I'm getting faster and stronger. And I'm like, dang, if I'd have known this when I was in school, things could have been totally different.
Vincent dropped 0.4 of a second off his 40 time and now calls his weight a good 250. An invite to Bears rookie camp followed. After that, a 3-year contract.
That's my niche. That's what I do. I work hard, and I'm not going to let nobody outbeat me. And I'm going to get cut because of something. Okay, maybe it's numbers or something like that, but I'm not going to get cut because of I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't go that extra mile, or I didn't do this and that. No, I'm going to do whatever I need to take to make this team.
Vincent isn't the only one at Acceleration trying to earn a spot. Former Naperville Central tailback Matt Randolph was the man for the Redhawks in 2011, racking up more than 2,000 yards of total offense and 28 touchdowns.
Matt Randolph carries the ball 6 yards good for the Naperville.
But now he finds himself working, getting his body into shape for his next challenge, cracking the rotation in a crowded backfield at North Central College. Seniors Jordan Tassio and Nick Kukoc are returning all-conference players, and sophomore Ryan Kent is in the mix as well.
College football, everyone out there is the best player on their high school team. So you know that you're going to have to, if you're a freshman, you got guys that are 4 years older than you, grown men that you're going to have to be like fighting for playing time with.
I think it is a good situation for him at North Central because North Central has some great running backs that he can learn from. I think one of the best things for me being at Ohio State is I learned so much from those guys there. I learned a lot, and you learn more from players almost than you do coaches.
Randolph says he's learned quite a bit training with Nicholas, using different techniques and equipment to toughen up his body for the college game. The anticipation of that preparation, and in turn fall camp, had Randolph chomping at the bit immediately after his high school career came to a close.
College football, everyone out there is the best player on their high school team. So you know that you're going to have to, if you're a freshman, you got guys that are 4 years older than you, grown men that you're going to have to be like fighting for playing time with. So you just got to take it one step at a time. 1, 2, 3.
For Brian Schafering, that game is a job. The Cleveland Browns defensive lineman is entering his 5th NFL season and has trained with Nicholas since 2008, when the former NFL fullback was still transitioning.
Unfortunately, I was with JR before he started all this, and I was kind of like his guinea pig. So I got to do all the extra band stuff and the kettlebells and all the crazy things that JR can come up with. He liked to test them out on me when I was getting ready for the combine.
Brian and I probably did a little bit too much sometimes. I remember a couple times where we just couldn't even walk, had to crawl down the stairs, crawl to our cars. But you know, we had fun, and if you love what you do, you're going to see results from. So I think that's the thing that we bonded. We got beasted, as we call it, but we had a great time doing it.
These days, the defensive lineman and his trainer are working according to a science-based plan, just like every other athlete at Acceleration, even if Schafering questions the man in charge.
How about we say we were going to, but we don't?
This doesn't work like that. No way you got me reached. I'm dead serious. You win where?
Don't listen to him.
Anytime I do something, he's like, why are we doing that? You know, and we tell him the science backing behind it. So, okay, it may just seem that this is a tense exercise, we're fighting, we're wrestling, but I can tell you why exactly we're doing what we're doing and how it's going to progress and how it's going to help you out on Sundays.
Nicholas has noticed another progression of sorts over the past 5 years. With an increase in competition and pressure to obtain a college scholarship, more athletes are specializing in a single sport. Do you think that's a good thing?
Not necessarily. I don't think it is. Just the whole aspect of how one-dimensional most sports are. You know, soccer has their dimensions, totally different from basketball, totally different from football. So if you're playing all those sports, you're working different muscles. You know, the hips are going to be worked a different way. So we see a lot of overuse injuries with those kids that specialize so early, especially later on.
Nicholas points to one of his earliest pupils as an example. Brian Schafering played 6 sports as a high school senior and has found himself thinking about sports specialization in his children.
I want my kids to experience an array of different sports. You know, like my son asked me the other day, because my daughter does ballet, he was like, Daddy, have you ever done ballet? I was like, yeah, I took 2 years of ballet in college. But I want my kids to be able to experience everything they can. Now, as they get a little older, if they say, okay, well, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I just want to do this, then that's fine, and that's what we'll focus on. But until they tell me that, whatever they want to do, they can do.
One expert says it depends on the athlete.
We've seen it go both ways. You know, some are, you know, well adapted and can handle those stresses, but others aren't capable of it and develop injuries, especially when you see a lot of one-sided sports like your throwing sports, baseball, softball, volleyball. You know, you develop a lot of imbalances if you're doing the same sport all year long.
However, Pilara also points out athletes with the right training instruction come in as Wildcats that are ahead of the curve.
There's some really good facilities out there that have really prepared these kids to come to this level, which is great. We love seeing those kids come in because we could pick up at a different level with them and maybe get away from the basics a little bit. But there's some athletes out there that didn't get the proper education or training, and they developed a lot of bad habits that take longer to break than teaching new habits. So it's a balance of both.
Football isn't all Nicholas and his staff do. One athlete on the acceleration roster is powerful in her movements, but it's a graceful power Melinda Wang displays on the ice.
It's actually really difficult doing a 4-minute long program while smiling and making it look pretty.
Wang skates internationally for Taiwan and is ranked 89th in the world heading into the skating season. The Naperville North graduate provided a challenge for Nicholas, who is certified by the American Council on Exercise and USA Track and Field, but he hadn't trained a competitive skater.
When she came through our doors, I did a lot of YouTube watching. She's got a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. I compared her videos to the gold medalists and what did they do different than her. So we studied her. I noticed the top end. I mean, she's in the top 100 figure skating, but how do we make her number one?
The plan includes work on an overspeed treadmill, running at 16 miles per hour on this day, and plenty of plyometrics for balance. Every rep is to help Wang get stronger on the ice, with an eye toward the 2014 Olympics.
I've been watching them on TV as a little kid, and now I'm competing with them, and just watching them in person, it's so inspirational that it kind of just drives me like, oh yeah, I want to be just like that person, so maybe I need to work a little harder.
As his first figure skating client, Wang forced Nicholas to work as well, something he says he's used to. The former NFL fullback tackles a daily schedule that includes 3 hours reading about new training practices and 2 hours of training himself, with the goal of finding the next step in athletic performance.
I do have that fear of if I do let off that somebody like me is going to do that. So that's why I never let off. I always train 2 hours a day. I always read 3 books, three hours a day, because I'm not going to let somebody outperform me in the training work.
Listening to Nicholas, you get the sense that much like Acceleration's commercial states,
off-season? I don't even know what off-season is.
There's no off-season for a trainer either. Much like the athletes he trains, there's always the threat of competition looking for an opening. For Brian Schafering, it's hungry guys like Brandon Vincent and Matt Randolph hoping for a shot. For Melinda Wang, it's the jumps and spins in her programs that stand between her and an Olympic goal. For Nicholas, it's the threat of becoming irrelevant.
It's always just staying ahead of the curve, because as soon as something becomes what everybody's doing it, you're going to get average results. So you always have to do that next thing. There's always different avenues.
What that next thing is at this point remains to be seen. But one thing is sure, athletes and their trainers will be working around the clock to figure it out.
Dig it, dig it, dig it, open it up, open it up, open it up. Time.
Vanessa DiBernardo was last seen by Illinois high school soccer fans going out on the highest of highs. The Waubonsie Valley midfielder had just captained the Warriors to their 3rd state title in 4 seasons. In the 2 soccer seasons since, DiBernardo hasn't stopped, piling up goals and assists in 2 outstanding seasons with the Fighting Illini, and earning a spot on the U20 United States national team. Our own Alex Symonds traveled to Champaign and caught up with DiBernardo as she embarks on her next challenge, the U20 Women's World Cup.
How do you define individual success in a team game? Is it being a key player on a successful team, or does it involve the numbers, goals and assists? How about awards, recognition from those on the outside? Vanessa DiBernardo has all of the above, but to recognize her gifts on the pitch, listening to those around her is a good start.
It's fun being able to find someone and pick someone out you know you can count on. Vanessa and I have connected quite a few times, and it's like a confidence going into a game knowing that you have someone next to you who has all the talent and all the skill in the world.
She has a vision that I haven't really seen with like any other player. She knows how to play a good through ball, but she also knows how to get a shot off.
Those skills were on display quite often at Waubonsie. A great first touch starts things off.
If you had never seen her play and walked up back then, I think you'd see her technical ability first. She's just really clean with the ball. You know, a lot of players, the ball is the problem, and you know, 2 or 3 touches to solve things. I think immediately you'd see how clean she was with the ball.
On the offensive end, it's a cerebral approach, breaking down the defense in ways not everyone can see.
I think what takes a little bit longer to see maybe is the decision-making process that she makes with the ball. She's able to see things that aren't just the obvious. You know, I think all great tactical players see things that everybody else sees plus one more option, and then they have the ability to choose that option.
You got to have a good sense of what the game calls for in order to anticipate those situations, and I think that she's good at reading that and anticipating what that player is going to do or what he or she should do in that situation, and then, you know, she'll make the pass or she'll make the play happen.
Angelo DiBernardo is more than a proud father. The Waubonsie boys soccer coach won the 1978 Herman Trophy while at Indiana, given to the best college soccer player in America. After that, 9 years in pro soccer, including 5+ seasons in the North American Soccer League with the famous New York Cosmos. The elder DiBernardo also has 20 caps for the U.S. national team to his name, including representing his country in the 1984 Olympics.
These were world-class players. They came to play in the North American Soccer League back then and for the New York Cosmos. So I was exposed to the best schooling that you could have back in those days. Going to practice and playing with those guys for 5.5 years, almost 6 years. It was the best teaching that I could ever had in regards to the soccer game.
He tried to pass that on to his 2 daughters. With Vanessa, the pro recognized talent early.
I think I saw that when she was about 3.5, 4 years old. She had that stamina, she had that toughness, she had that face that she was very serious about the game. And I said, you know what, we may have something here. And she's proved me right in regards to that.
Dad doubled his coaching club soccer from that early age until Vanessa was 18, providing the insights learned while at the highest levels of the game. Even if the daughter tended to do what daughters sometimes do.
I think I should learn from him more than I do. Sometimes we might not agree on things, and he's still my dad, and you sometimes argue with your dad. So I think the challenge is trying to mix a father with a coach, and I think I'm still trying to learn that.
You know, I never had a situation where she says, hey, I don't want to hear it, you know. She may make some faces here and there, but I think she's always been very receptive of whatever information I have given her or anybody else.
After high school, Vanessa made the trek down I-57 to Champaign. Her coach expected an impact player.
I think you knew she was going to be special. Certainly knew at the college level she was going to be a great college player.
At midfield, a freshman from Naperville, Illinois, number 20, Vanessa DiBernardo.
The freshman showed flashes of greatness right away, assisting a goal 7 minutes into her first game and scoring 5 minutes later. In the Illini's second Big Ten game, she exploded. In the first half, the 18-year-old scored her 5th goal of the season. After the intermission, she poured in 3 and etched her name into the school's record book for tallies in a half and a game.
I think a few of those goals where I was in the right place at the right time and just took the good touch. But it was definitely exciting and different. I've never done that before, and to do that in a college game, it was pretty cool.
She always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Vanessa is quick to remind anyone that soccer is a team game. Even when told in just 2 seasons, she has the 4th most career goals in Illini history.
I don't really look at numbers as much as some other people do, but I just want to go out there and do what I can do to help the team and make the team successful. And if that's me scoring and assisting, then I'll do that. But if it's me just winning a tackle, I'll do that as well.
In the Big Ten tournament title game, the team didn't need a tackle.
She'd gotten dinged up earlier in the game and wasn't really feeling 100% and actually had tears in her eyes. I said, hey, we'll put you up front, won't be as much physical contact. get your chance, put the ball on frame, and see if you can make something happen for us.
Really just end the game as quickly as we could because I was in a lot of pain.
From playing with her in high school, like I knew she always came through in big moments, and if I had no doubt in my mind that it would be Vanessa that would be on the end of the goal or like somehow involved in the goal.
Turns it into the middle. DiBernardo, the right foot! DiBernardo! Big Ten title! Coming home to Champaign! Vanessa wins it!
You know, that was the end of the story, and I think the tears of pain turned to tears of joy almost instantly.
And Vanessa DiBernardo, the sophomore, with the pure-sealed performance of the game.
Do you jump up? Do you throw your hands up? I mean, it was a great moment.
Well, you know, I was born in Argentina, so when that happens, yes, you do jump and you do yell. I was happy, number one, for the team, and then I was happy, number two, for my daughter, of course.
It was a moment of individual success, intertwined with the team.
Nicole laid a really good ball off, and I just saw an opportunity to take a shot. And in overtime, you got to take those opportunities because you never know how many you'll get. It's a short amount of time, so it was a good opportunity, and I just took it.
That goal won the Big Ten tournament title and a berth to the NCAAs. After the Orange and Blues tournament run, DiBernardo was selected for the U20 national team in its quest to win the Women's World Cup. For qualifying, the Americans headed to Panama. On the coaching staff was a familiar face.
It's nice having her there. I know how she coaches, so that's comforting, and we travel together, so we talk sometimes about how I thought I did or how she thought I did. So definitely I get more information out of it. Maybe.
As the qualifying tournament progressed, DiBernardo seemed to get more comfortable, and more playing time followed.
I think one of the things the national team has really sort of forced her to do is to really come out of that bubble, because to be successful in that environment, you got to want to stand out. And she's not always one to want to stand out. She'd just as soon share the limelight with anybody else out there, and loves to be that. But with the talent she has, to step up and take the limelight and to really make a difference in the game, I think she's really started to find that she's got the ability to do that.
Reporting from this field 2 seasons ago for Naperville Sports Weekly, one of Vanessa's traits aside from her awesome ability stood out: her constant smile. After a step up to the Big Ten and the international stage, not much has changed.
You've got a lot of footage of her smiling, and it's the thing I love about her the most is she just has fun and she enjoys it and she smiles a lot. And you know, when you can coach someone who's doing that all the time, it makes my job super, super easy.
DiBernardo says it's a product of the environment.
I guess when you enjoy something you do, you're happy, and I enjoy being out on the field and competing against my teammates and other players, and I guess it's a big part of my life, and I think even when I'm not playing soccer, I like to compete. So I think it just carries over to my overall life.
She likes to enjoy herself while she plays. In regards to the smile, that comes from my wife's side. You know, she's always smiling too. She's a very happy woman, and she's got a very happy daughter.
Aside from the constant grin, the other quality Vanessa projects is a quiet confidence. You won't find her pounding her chest about the trophy case full of honors. Instead, she's content to contribute to the squad.
There's definitely many players that have come here before me, and I'm honored to be a part of this program, and I just kind of want to play my best and see where that takes me.
But I always told her that number one, you're as good as your last 20 minutes. Number two, don't let it go to your head. Number three, if you're happy with what you have accomplished yourself, that is what matters. If you're unhappy with it, then go do something and fix it. But if you're happy with it, you gave it your best, that's all you can ask for.
Looks like there is a definition for individual success in a team game after all.
Vanessa and Team USA begin the U20 World Cup on August 20th against Ghana in Hiroshima, Japan. That wraps up this edition of The Home Stretch. For Alex Symonds, I'm Marc Dahlquist. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.